Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to MLG here for the America's Minor. I am Sprawl, joined by Mega Man. We've got Cash as our next map, and this is last chance here for the WinOut crew. They've lost their map choice. Can they bring it back on Cash, a map that Selfless is known to be strong on?
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really tough ride for them right now, especially since Selfless is on the terrorist side. We saw previously matchup on Cash when TSM played it against Energy earlier. Very strong terrorist side half. They were up something like 10-2 at one point on that. See if Selfless can replicate that and have a big start to this one. Because you look at the economy right now, or you look at the purchase that's going out for WinOut side, they've got an HE grenade and a kit on Bit, but he's playing in the back of that B bomb site. So if they do attack towards A, which it looks like they're going to be doing, that kit is so extremely far away from that bomb site right now. And if they did have anybody lurking around in mid or over towards the B bomb site and he dies, that just puts a huge damper in the execution, or the re-execution, so to speak. But PKL starting it off. He gets two, finally gets dropped, but Destiny is there. And they've also got Knack on the site as well. Pardon me, that's not Knack. That is actually just Destiny up there on the site. Bit coming around from the back lines, and they've got Yell over here by Forklift, but he gets taken down. Relic's doing some work. He's on the verge of the ace. Bit's down to 56. He's the only unarmored player that was on the team. He does still have the kit. He's going to fall back around in towards the mid area, but Relic's on the verge of a absolutely phenomenal round. Fakes out the plant, tries to pull that player up off a highway, but he cleared out truck, and that was the important thing. He knows that that player should not be coming from truck side. He knows that most likely he's going to be coming from highway. He's got himself into a really good position over here by quad. He's just going to be taking some jump peeks here, just seeing whether or not Bit. And Bit's playing this smart too. He's just waiting this one out, trying to play some mind games right now because he does have that kit. Ooh. And he hits the shot. Almost a miracle round from Relics, but Bit pulls it out for WinOut, and that's the start they need.
Yeah, Relic's so close and had some really nice shots there as well. The one tap towards Fork follows it up onto players out in the open there, but in the end, Bit able to come up with a one tap of his own. So WinOut looked bleak for the moment, and we're going to see this again. Relic's all alone, and he finds one towards quad, swaps out for that USP, and this beautiful tap towards Fork. Nice work, and
he almost
does the
doubled
same thing
him
on
right there too. Did you see that?
Yeah, Bit going down to 56.
He gooshed Bit through his teammate's head.
It's very, yeah, I don't see that every day, that's for certain. So WinOut, that's the start we needed to see, but force buy for Selfless, and they did get that bomb plant, so could have saved here and kind of full save moved into an AK buy in the next, but they will decide to keep the pressure on.
I like this, though. We saw TSM actually do this when they were playing on Cash on the T side. And they went for the big force up. They actually had 2 AKs at the time, or maybe it was on Train that we saw that on, but it was still a big buy going into the second round. A couple of pistols to support a couple of rifles. They've got a UMP in the hands of Mitch. Relics has got the AK because he got so many friggin' kills in the first round. And they've already got site control over here in the A-bomb site. It's a full retake now for the CT side, and you can see Yell just trying to find this player that's hiding behind Forklift. And he is going to be able to take him down. That's mainline off the map. But look at this forward aggression. They're going to be able to get an M4 out of this too. If Uber was able to stay alive or at least find a second one, that would have been a huge detriment here to the CT side. But Mitch able to chime in with one. Switches over to the Glock, but he can't get it done. And again, it's going to be all on Relics here with this AK, and he falls. So this buy is not going to pay off for Selfless.
Yeah, WinOut, I love the way they play the A-bomb site, specifically on that round, because Tech-9's, like the Tech-9 buy, although they got that plan in the first, WinOut, they're still worried in that if you play dedicated at Fork, the amount of times that we see a player getting drive-by at Fork or Fence or Quad, they play Yell in a position where he almost sits inside of the smoke where Selfless put. And they wait for that retake, and they wait to see if Selfless actually exit and try and push. And eventually they do. Got a little squirrely for a moment, but WinOut pick it up, and that's going to be more confidence in their column.
Well, that spot from Yell actually reminds me of a clip of Selfless. It was Relics with a USP ace on this map where he actually hid in the smoke and then picked the perfect time to pounce and ended up killing like 3 players. They played against Complexity, albeit a wounded Complexity at the time, but he was able to flank out 3 players in the site with a USP, kill 3 of them, get a rifle, and kill the last 2. It was an insane ace. But, you know, just the patience. That smoke is there. It's not a solid wall, but you can use it for the good cover. But now it's going to be Bit and Knack's turn to go to work right now. Bit finds 3, Knack finds 1. Last man standing is Mitch. He's all the way over the A-bomb site, no bomb in hand. And they're just going to be able to swarm on the CT side and hold this bomb, lock it down. And we're going to see that 3-0 scoreline coming out here from WinOut.
Yeah, nice work from the WinOut side. They will survive with all 5, and of course, being that they all have rifles at this point, even just one frag that would have been fairly expensive rebuy, but instead, all the rifles will survive through, and WinOut, this is around the next hurdle, so to speak.
Yeah.
As Selfless, they would love to bring it back.
And here you see Bit just mowing him down there. Knack, honestly, I don't even think Knack needed to really participate too much in that gunfight, but it was all Bit all day. He actually gets an assist off of one of them as well. He's sitting at 5 kills, 0 deaths right here through the first 3 rounds, so that's a beautiful start for him. This is the start that WinOut needs, and they need to continue to capitalize. And it looks like, they've got some pretty solid, grasp on how to play the CT side. Their pistol round was good. Could have been better, but they still ended up winning that. Their anti-eco round was very clean. Both times around they lost, I think, 1, maybe 2 players on the first one and stayed 5 alive on the second, so you can see how that's actually affected their economy with 2 players up around $7,000 in Yell and Bit. So if they even drop this round, they should have another healthy buy, put an op in the hands of Yell, and let him go to work on this map. But again, it's like you said, the first hurdle is here. It's going to be the 5 AK buy here for the terrorist side of Selfless, and we'll see what kind of a response we get out of them.
Oh, PK.
And there you go.
So much damage dealt to mainline, but that AK headshot comes in, and now Yell wants to try and capitalize on that damage dealt. Molotov comes in, or Incendiary rather, as he's going to try and spot out Mitch as well. But quite a bit of presence here for Selfless towards middle. It looks like they've got Nifty lurking into B right now as well, or at least in B main, but the extremities are covered for the T side, and eventually they'll push up middle. Uber able to find Yell, and now a 5-on-3.
If Yell was able to get that reload and kill Uber, that would have been insane. I mean, mainline's on 3 HP, Mitch is on 48, Uber's on 34. This is still very manageable for WinOut. And the bomb is going over towards the B-bomb site where 2 of the players happen to be, and Destiny just killed the Lurker and Relic. So now they know the execution is coming B. Nifty should go down here. Oh, no, Knack not able to get that kill. That's really unfortunate. That's a good kill, though. Bit's going to be able to take down the low player in mainline, but Uber trades it. And at this point, this should be a save call here for Destiny. Like I said, they can go for another buy into this next round, but it would be nice for them to carry a rifle. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Selfless finally on the board. It comes in the 4, 3-1.
And they'll survive with 3, so good news for their economy. But moving into this next one, like you had mentioned, we will see that AWP coming out onto the field. So Yell gets a chance here, and now WinOut. Although they didn't win that round, of course, we always highlight that it is very important to if you want to have a dominant half, you would love to be able to basically reset the economy of the opposite team. So Selfless, if they drop this round, that would be the case. But they do have a little bit in the bank, about 2,800, not too much though. As we will see, I think they boosted up early. They've got some players in A main. Destiny playing at Fork, and you could see the switch up once we go to rifle rounds. They're not going to just allow for that Fork control to give to the T side. But on a certain round, like we had highlighted on that anti-eco, it's not a bad idea to give up that real estate, as we can see Yell opping from quad as well.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. They have no mid presence right now on the CT side, so they're getting into vents for free. They're going to be able to bust out into this area. They only send 2 players over right now, but the bomb is over there. And Bit, I mean, he's doing work right now holding this B-bomb site. He gets 2, gets a 3rd as well. Yell's going to find the Lurker and Relics at A again. And this is a great turnaround for WinOut. Now, this is where things can get out of hand for Selfless. If they can continue to just reset, if it's like they win 2 rounds or they win 3 rounds on the CT side, if Selfless starts to build up that money bonus, they win around on Selfless's side, and then they get reset immediately afterwards. You could see this snowball into like a 9-3, even a, get up to an 11-4 halftime score, or even a 12-3 halftime score for WinOut. Because they keep crippling the economy. And this is what happened to them on Dust 2. And you heard it from Garrett. It was something like 12 rounds on the board, and there was only like 2 full equipped gun rounds for WinOut because they were just so beat up economically that there wasn't anything that they could do. And that is a really nice, clean round out of the WinOut crew. 4 alive. That's going to build the money back up for them after that 1 round that Selfless got. You can see that pretty much everybody on their team, even after the buy down, is going to be up around $2,000 with the exception of Destiny and Yell. Well, actually, no. They buy a little bit lower than I thought, but even if they lose this round, it should be relatively okay as far as, picking up maybe pistol armor and some nades.
So moving into the 6th round here, Selfless without a lot to work with, but maybe they can get something done with these techs. As let's see what the positioning is from WinOut. So they'll put a player up on Cat, Yell playing back towards Truck. So great response to a round like this, and
Jesus.
What a mow down. Some of these times the stat at the top is good at the end of the round, and, well, that one only took 17 seconds, so thanks, Valve.
I love those stats.
There's only like 2 that I like. I think we saw the 0.1 second defuse,
yeah,
and then the grenade damage. I like that as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. But everything else is fairly useless, let's be serious.
I don't know. That one's pretty good. 17 seconds. I mean, how long does it take? How long does it take to run from terrorist spawn into A main? That's the question that I want to have answered. So we'll see here. I'm just doing it on my own little computer. So it takes 13 seconds to run from T-spawn into A main, so really that round only lasted 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Essentially, once the gunfire started going in. Destiny aggressive into A main. I like this position. You saw Peter use that on Cash earlier today. It's a nice forward position. Or it was actually, pardon me, it was Silent that was able to pull that off earlier today on Cash. It was a really, really nice position. You're able to catch somebody off guard. It's almost the equivalent of boosting up on top of where the toxic barrels are. The shroud spot, the shroust, if you will, the shroud boost.
I like it.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that to catch on, but I'm the only one that says it. So, but you know, it's an element of surprise thing. You've got that smoke there in the way. It's almost one-way-esque, but they still. It takes a second for you to realize that there's actually a dark CT model up behind the dark smoke. So, still playing that forward position. Looks like he's probably bailing out now, and he is. So now they're going to turtle up a little bit here on the CT side. Not showing any of their cards yet on the terrorist side. They've got mid control if they want it. Really, WinOut hasn't been playing mid hardly at all. They've got one player over here by Catbox, or pardon me, that's actually all the way back in CT spawn by Truck. So they're playing a heavy A right here.
And we can see Relix is trying to provide some presence towards that squeaky door, and he actually almost caught a player as he heard him run out of A main, but you can see how much damage has been dealt to this T side. It's going to be difficult with 30 seconds remaining to make this work, but they will split towards the A bomb site. Eventually, Nifty will head on back as well to help out, but Destiny with 2, and Mitch is going to come up from Highway, falls as well. And Uber finds 1 before getting dropped. Nifty in a 1v4, and he will be able to do some more economic damage. Ticks down a bit, but you can hear the yelling already from the WinOut side. They're very hyped to continue this this streak of rounds. They're going to have a 6-1 scoreline.
Yeah, that was a great one, too. They're looking in this one. There you go. No money, no joy, no extra goodness for Nifty going into the next round. And you can see $450. They're going to be on a force up here because this might actually be double save territory here for Selfless. They have lost 3 in a row, so the money bonus, I believe, is around $2,400 going into this round. So they might be able to formulate a buy after this is all said and done. But this, I mean, it's so weird to see like a terrorist side have to do a double save. They're going to invest into the Tech 9s and the armor behind this. Nifty's going to go with the P250 because that's all that he can afford. And it's just Selfless. This is a completely different both sides, really. This is completely different Selfless than we saw in the first map, and a completely different WinOut than we saw in the first map. WinOut really showing that maybe Cash was something that they hit up their sleeves. You know, nobody knows a lot about this team, and they're wrecking right now. Destiny over at this A bomb site has been lights out. He does end up falling to mainline, but now they know that there's at least alert going on over there, but they executes towards B with the bomb.
There we go. Knack going to try and hold it down. He does burn to death as he was kind of in a smoke, awkward, but Bit falls to Relix, and now it will be a 2-on-3. Not looking good for the WinOut side, but the bomb is actually down. I did not recognize that. That's excellent, and well, it will be, like you had stated, that lurk from mainline coming in from middle towards the vents area, and he does spot out PKL as I think he's reloading in the corner there. Yell now in a 1v2, and mainline is actually giving him a jiggle peek, seeing if he can get a shot fired at Yell. But Yell will retreat out of heaven. And Selfless on the 2-on-1. They will just take down Yell immediately upon him peeking. Nade came in but didn't make much of a difference, as we'll see Selfless. They're able to pick up their second, and not that big of a buy like you had highlighted.
Yeah, I mean, it was pistols. Pistols, a little bit of armor, and a couple of nades, and they get into the B bomb site. That just shows you the power of the close-range battles on that B site. I would have liked to see Nat get a little bit more, but he got mollied out in the back of the site. He wasn't really able to be all that effective from that position, only getting 1. Bit not being able to pick up anything with as formidable as he's been over in the B bomb site, you know, getting 1, 2, sometimes 3 kills, even 4 kill round over there in that site. I mean, Bit's playing great. He's 9-3 right now, 8-3 for Yell. Knack, again, he's at the bottom. He's the one that's the slow fragger, but they've got him over there with the top fragger, so combined 13 for those guys at B just alone in 8 rounds. So they're doing a good job. Unfortunately, they're going to start running out of money here. If they lose this round on the CT side, that's going to give Selfless every opportunity to get back into this one. They need to trade this here. Yeah, and if they can, this is, like I said, 3 rounds for CT, 1 round for T. 3 rounds for CT, 1 round for T. If they can continue this pattern, they can have a 12-3 half, and that would be an absolutely astonishing half for them going into the second half onto the terrorist side, sometimes the more favored side.
So, a minute left here, as we'll see a slow work from Selfless. They've given up control towards B main, so makes me think we will see some sort of play towards A, setting up some smokes, and we'll see how telegraphed this turns out to be. With 45 seconds, it's not like WinOut has gained a lot of intel towards B. They still have players there, but eventually smokes coming down, and the rotation should be called for. They're not going to completely commit to the rotation because there is time for a fake 35 seconds on the clock. A Selfless breach into A, and decent smokes. Nifty takes down Yell first and foremost. Destiny still at fence, finds the spray down on 2, but eventually falls.
Yeah, but PKL is there to trade. It's positive trades for the win outside 3-on-2 situation. No bomb plant just yet, 20 seconds. They're going to have to get in here on default and take care of that, but the CTs are so forward right now that it's going to be very difficult to get out of default. You can see Relics, he's struggling with the idea, do I want to go ahead and run for the hills? And he is going to go ahead and make that move. And Nifty, in the meantime, is able to find PKL, so it's going to be down to Bit and Knack to try to retake this. The B-boys, and Knack already goes down. It's Bit 1 versus Relics right now. He's going to be looking for it. Relics, I don't know, he should have just spotted him going around the side. But he's going to go up on top of Red Box. Relic spots it. He's going to go for the chase. And Bit gets it done. The 2K to close it out. And again, even with that bomb plant, this is going to be a rough reset here for Selfless. The only player with any money is going to be Nifty at 4,400. We might see another Tech 9 armor force buy come out of them to see if they can get back into it and rebuy and try to reset WinOut here. But this is a great half for WinOut right now.
And just to go back into that situation, Nifty playing from Fork, he don't get me wrong, does great work, finds those 2 frags, but then he assumes that the remaining player is A-main to the point that he literally gives his back, walks out of Fork, gives his back to Truck, and creates that one-on-one. Again, being a little critical, but it did create the one-on-one, which WinOut was able to win. So moving into this next one, Selfless, they have gone for some equipment here, AK on Nifty, but he's already taken so much damage. 3 players already on similar hit points, but eventually Knack falls and no frag as of yet.
And actually, PKL goes down as well, and if they can salvage some of these rifles, which they do, I mean, you look at it right here, look at how low these players are, getting up into vents, getting aggressive, and there's another positive trade here for the terrorist side. They've got so many low players, 10 HP or less for Uber Mainline and Nifty. But the damage is done. CTs are going to fall back. They're going to hang on to this because if they do lose these last 2 rifles, they're going to be on they are on a broken economy. They need to carry these rifles into the next round. And I don't know. I just feel Knack over at B isn't working. He's gotten 5 assists, but this was a round where there was so much damage done early on that he just needed to clean up 1, 2, maybe even 3 kills because they were so low. But Selfless, I mean, stealing away another round over at B. They need to figure out what's going on at B because they were so strong at the beginning of this matchup, holding B with Bit and Knack, and now they're just getting pushed over.
Yeah, and like you had highlighted, so little HP that round could have been completely different if a little bit. Look at that. We get the 280 damage. You guys are looking at the Selfless guys, but we got 280 damage with nades there from the WinOut side.
From Knack.
Lovely stats that we
that
highlighted.
Was just from Knack.
Yeah, Knack just, again, doing so much there, but unfortunately.
And he got no kills.
They just couldn't capitalize. Yeah, he eventually fell to Tech 9. So 7-3, Selfless, they're bringing it back here, and we will see. This is, okay, Bit does have an M4. We got Destiny with the CZ75, Mag 7 on Knack, and it's not a pretty buy.
No, not a pretty buy at all. Knack is going to do the same thing. He delays that nade. That's going to I clipped a wall or something. That should have wrecked Nifty. That should have done a lot of damage. It does 5 damage to Relics and 1 damage to Nifty. That's a little bit unfortunate. Lining up a flashbang if they do decide to push in towards the checker side again. But this is the big thing, is they've got a little bit of mid control now from PKL with the UMP up close. Mainline is on the other side. They've got a squeaky door push as well. And, I mean, it's just all over. They want to get into the face of these guys. Yell does have the op still that he was able to save out of the last round, and he wants to take a little bit more of an aggressive stance over here towards A main. The big thing is that there is nobody home at A main. The bomb is sitting outside of B, and I definitely see the potential. Actually, Yell is going to get aggressive in A main as well to clear things out, and he's going to get up on top of the boxes right now. So now they know that there's nobody in A. Now they can start to filter back in towards B. The push is going to come around here through mid, and actually there it is. PKL, back-to-back frags with the UMP. He's going to drop it down, gets a FAMAS for his troubles, and now he can support his teammates over here at B. As Knack just bunny all over the place. Going to find one more, and PKL, they find the last one. Bit cleans it up. And again, it's just this round trade going on.
So that'll be another round here for the WinOut side. And Selfless, they have enough money to get AKs on 4, so Mitch is the only one on 1,800, and I imagine that they will go for this kind of buy. 3 rounds not going to be enough on the T side, and indeed that will be the case. So moving forward, we got Mitch with the Tech 9, AKs again on 4. All right, utility, but WinOut, again, this is a fantastic look from them thus far. Coming from a disappointing Dust 2, like James has stated, like that huddle, it's so hard to not get behind these guys, as they definitely made a fan out of me. But we'll see how this rest of the map is going to pan out. As Selfless, they take mid control, like you have been highlighting. No presence really for the WinOut side, as they're playing very passive in that respect, which is completely fine if you know how to, like, the worst thing to see is when a player just runs up highway and blindsides a player in A because there's no comms on the fact that mid is open. As long as everybody's aware and you kind of play accordingly, it's not the end of the world.
Not at all. And again, I mean, it's this weird quasi-buy going on. Mainline actually gets spotted out here by Catbox. So again, you can see how not having any mid presence at all for WinOut is yielding a lot of map control for Selfless. You've seen the hits come in towards A, you've seen the hits come in towards B, because they're able to split checkers and B main, or they're able to come up highway and go through A main and squeaky door. There's so many avenues of attack on this map. You know, you've got 2 entries in towards that B bomb site, 3 if you count both of the checkers entries. And it's crazy to think about when you look at the grand scheme of things. And again, Uber's going to be able to open up. That's a great flash. And look at all the damage that's done again. Mainline at 24. Relics is very low, but it's going to be Knack hiding in plain sight. He finds 3 before he goes down, and that's a huge play from Knack. But unfortunately, Nifty is there, picks off 2. It's all down to Yell. Can the young superstar do it with the AWP and the P250? And I hope that he isn't planning on falling back. If he was able to get that wall bang, that would have been nuts. We wanted to go for the no-scope. Not able to line it up in time, and does have a kit, so he's got time.
I think originally he was looking for an automatic rifle that he thought his teammate dropped near tree. That's why he threw his weapon. But at this point, it's so difficult with an op, no matter the fact that they're on 9 hit points each, makes no difference.
He has no idea either.
Yeah, exactly, right? Unless someone was able to see that they literally, which some of the time you can give that intel on whether or not you've lit up the players, but a lot of chaos inside of that bomb site, and it's hard to know. As we'll see, WinOut, they are going to drop this one. So Selfless, they're bringing it back. And to be fair, if they can bring it back 8-7, this isn't something that they are not able to work with moving on to their CT front.
Yeah, and that's the big part about it, too, is that you look at the last 6 rounds, CT, T, CT, T, CT, T. Those round trades will always favor the terrorist side because the CT side weapons are so much more expensive. The rifle, you know, is $400 more. The M4 is $400 more than the AK. $2,700 for an AK, $3,100 for an M4. Incendiary grenades are $600 on the CT side versus $400 for the Molotov on the terrorist side. So that's $200 there. Now they're going to have to make it happen with just pistols and the AWP that they saved from the last round. And it already starts off in favor of WinOut picking up that opening pick, taking Nifty down, who was the thorn in their side last round.
This is so smart from WinOut as well, in that they get that pick with the op and then they rotate it off. They put it on wheels immediately, because generally if you're on an anti-eco and you're trying to avoid that one rifle, if it gets a pick somewhere, you're going to avoid that spot. So all over it is WinOut as they've rotated that off back over towards A. Bit finds a 1 dig, but mainline able to capitalize. They haven't dealt with Destiny at quad though, and he's able to take down another Yell. Onto Mitch, and it's Relics in a 1v4. He finds 1 at Fork, but he can't find anything else. And that is the impact that a single op can have on an eco round, in that if you get that first pick, you get that player advantage, all of a sudden the T's can play a little scared. And the gamble was leave one player on B after the pick and rotate, and it worked out brilliantly.
It absolutely did. Destiny played his role to a T right there. They cleared out the guy that was playing in default. They never checked quad.
Yeah.
Not once. Nobody even went over in that remote area. As soon as they killed that guy that was in sight, they went in for the plant. Deny the plant, deny the money. Now you can see the buy that's coming out here from the terrorist side. But again, it's the Tech-9 armor push in towards B, and they're getting locked out right now. And again, both players go down. It's going to have to be a massive return frag from the other side from WinOut. And PKL actually gets gooshed down to 9 HP, trying to come back in on this retake as well, and they're going to boost back up into the vents again behind a smoke. This is insane the way that the rounds have been trading right here. And I don't want to say that it's like, oh, you know, Selfless has a really good round with the pistols, and then WinOut has a really good reply. It just feels to me like it's sloppy CS from both sides right now.
Yeah, and some fortunate the way that Selfless pushed into B as well. For one, that flash out middle for a player that's running out vents, that's a flash that is just so difficult. Like, it's either you run backwards towards that middle smoke if you put one down to try and avoid a flash.
Boost.
Yeah, right. Or you run forward and eat a flash, and if you got no support, then
and
good
then you
luck.
get Stewie 2K'd.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of what occurred there. So, will be another round here for Selfless, and if they weren't able to take these kind of random B rounds, I shouldn't say random because there is a thought to it and such, but if they didn't complete those, this would be even more a dominant half from WinOut, and we might even see a 9-6.
Yeah, that's the biggest part about this, too. I mean, it's still going to be a good buy for the CT side. You can see it's actually a great buy for the CT side, especially since they were able to save those 2 rifles. Nifty, though, he's on an AWP. He hasn't really had an op too much, but there's a nice leg shot. They actually stacked up over top of that smoke in mid. And we're able to find a little bit of leg damage there, but mainline so far forward, he's just going to chase this one out. Yell's got to be careful. He's got to get his rifle out. He does have support from his teammate, though, and they are going to be able to find that. Destiny finds Uber as well. They try to get aggressive through the Z connector hallway, and that is actually a really good reply from WinOut. Looks like it could be a 10-5, but again, we've seen some craziness go on. Knack is in the backside of Checkers right now, or pardon me, who is that in the backside of Checkers? That's Bit in the backside of Checkers, waiting for this push to come in from Vince. So he could he could bring the noise in this round as well, as long as he just sits back and is patient and waits for these guys to go ahead and push in towards the Checkers side.
So a little bit of slow play here as I just want to point out you said Z connector and the Canadianness. It must be it's Z, is it not? Right. So I'm saying CZ75s and
you foreigners, man.
Right?
I'm telling you, it's anytime that I cast,
I've
like I cast
you.
it with Anders and Similar and those guys, and it's Z this, Z that.
Exactly.
But look at this. I mean, Bit, that was a must kill situation right there. He has to get that frag. Nifty's going to be able to smoke out onto CT. And Molotov and window. That's actually crucial because that player is actually going to be able to sit in the back of sight. Knack, he doesn't get cleared out. He does get flushed out of position because that Molotov landed in the window. But they've brought it back to a 2v2 from a 5v3. So Destiny's flank here is going to be crucial. He's got to find Nifty. He's got to take him down. He's going to get peeked out here in a second. Oh, he actually
the barrel
spots
spotted
the corner of him. Yeah, that's beautiful job. And he's going to flush him back in here towards the backside. Actually mollies him out. But the flash that he threw was on point. It's not a PKL versus Nifty. Low HP versus low HP, but it's an AWP in the hands of Nifty. PKL's going to have to go for it here. Has no idea that he's right around the corner, and the no-scope comes out, and Nifty clutches it. It was a 5-on-3 that WinOut just threw away.
Yeah, that was another round towards the B-bomb site, and they're just not able to make it work, and credit to Nifty to get those final two frags for one. He sprints through that Molotov and catches one out, and then the no-scope in the very end. So considering how this started, I feel like Selfless, again, with 6 rounds, I think they should still be able to work with that. WinOut, they're in a confident position, no doubt, but now we get to see what their T side is all about.
Yeah, and this is what I'm more curious about because, again, they didn't really play necessarily outside of the realm of standard CS on the CT side. Their rotations were really, really good on point. You saw it with that one round where Yell had the AWP and they only had pistols to support. And like you said, they got the pick at B. They fell all the way back and stacked the A-bomb site, flushed them back out in towards the other side of the map, and they end up winning because of that. So really nice stuff from them. A 9-6 half isn't bad. This could have been a 12-3.
Yeah.
This could have been a 12-3 for WinOut. The round trading in the middle, it's like I said, that favors the terrorist side because the expense that you're putting onto those rifles on the CT side, you're just spending so much more money when you actually go into those gun rounds. So those trades, it's always going to favor the terrorist side, just like player trading always generally favors the terrorist side.
Yep. So we'll see what Selfless, again, can do on their CT side. We saw them versus Winterfox in their first map, and well, for one, if you guys didn't see Mitch's 1-dig inside of a smoke, I just want to point out
I'm sure it's like front page Reddit.
Yeah, go check that out. Make sure you guys see that as we'll see if there's some magic to come into this, and it was on that CT side. Again, Hades, it was not a fun situation for him, but
he didn't appreciate that very much.
One of the things to note, though, against Selfless, the retaking of A, they were fairly successful. And
look at this clip one more time. Look at this. He actually, see how Bit took 44 damage when his teammate got shot? He actually almost did double them. That would have been an insane ace from Relics. But again, I mean, this is the last round, the last kill of the half. Nifty shutting down PKL. But the big story there was a half that started off looking so good for WinOut ends up being a pretty standard half overall in the grand scheme of things because of what looked like a really strong B defense turned out to be the weakness for WinOut in the long run. Their B hold was super strong in the beginning of this matchup, and then it seemed like,
it was like
all
big
the rounds
triple kills and stuff. I think there was one round where he fell off of the boxes where they were trying to boost towards Sunroom, and he killed players towards Checkered, and it was a crazy 3K, and they shut it down. So
yeah, and that's the big part about it too is they were up 6-2 at that point, and it seemed like all 4 of the rounds that Selfless were able to win after that all came at B, and it was all on Tech 9 armor just rushes. They couldn't stop that.
So here we go. We're going to see an A-side take, and this is Selfless. They actually played aggressive on their CT pistol versus Winterfox. They pushed 3 players through middle, and they were actually able to capitalize on the fact that it was an A-side hit. This, different scenario. They play the retake, and eventually they're going to push through B. So the similar flank, just not as quick, and we'll see if it pans out. WinOut, they do look to be primed towards A main with a crossfire. PKL is going to peek out, but it looks like he's just trying to bait for his teammate Bit here, but Relics and Uber are coming up big. Bit not able to find anything, and now a 2-on-4 as Yell and Destiny try and hold.
Destiny is going to be able to find one more. They've got to be careful in sight here, and finally Yell goes down, but it's Destiny from Quad. It's such a strong position. He's got to play this right. He's going to look for it, but Uber is going to take him down. But too much time and no kits.
There it is.
Don't be a loser.
Looks like Mainline actually does have a kit, but I think he picked it up on his way out. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what some of those rounds can come down to. And just to highlight the difference again, the CT pistol of Selfless versus WinterFox, they run 3 players through middle, and it's so quick to A main that they can have ample time to get that defused. This time, it's those 3 players aren't pushing through B until essentially they know it's an A-side play and the bomb is going down. So much time expended, and Selfless, they find the frags, but not the defuse.
Well, the big thing, too, is that at least WinOut was able to study up a little bit on Selfless as far as what they do on Cash, especially in the pistol round, which, you know, could have been a very crucial thing to look at. You know, they said, okay, during WinterFox's matchup, they pushed aggressively through mid, so we're just going to take A as fast as we possibly can. And it's like you said, by the time that they realized that hit was on, I mean, I saw it was Nifty, I believe, that was actually pushing up aggressively in mid with 3 of his players coming around from B. I'm not even sure what that was about because he ended up falling back and going to catbox up highway.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a confusing strat there from the CT side, or a little bit of a confusing read as well. But again, I mean, went out making short work of this round, hardly taking any damage at all.
Yeah, nothing too invested for Selfless in that they've got a couple pistols, but keeping some money in the bank. As we've been talking about it all event, these second round CT full buys.
Damn.
Yeah, Yell. Wow. If that was Yell, he can definitely yell. True to his name, as Uber is now alone. And he's towards Squeaky. He will find a fight versus Yell, but he comes out on top again. So nice economic padding for 3 with the MAC-10.
Yeah, $1,800 going Yell's way, and with him being the AWP player, you know, that's the glory of the SMGs, man, with the exception of the P90, of course, which only nets you $300 per kill. But the $600 on the MAC-10, and he's going to have another opportunity here to farm up some money because it's going to be another full save from the Selfless side. And again, you know, we kind of harped on this before, and at least Garrett harped on this before about the importance of a full save on the CT side to have the first really good buy. You've got an Alper and Nifty. He's going to be on just a USP this time around. And you want him to have the AWP. You want him to be able to make an impact on the CT side, and he can't do that if he's getting aim punched, if he doesn't have utility to fall back with. So here comes that push onto the A bomb site. They are able to trade one out, but Yell and Bit going to work with the MAC-10s. Bit again, and just send in the MAC-10s, let him do work. But Relix, that was the position I was telling you about that he was so effective in before, but he gets a little over anxious there, and Knack finds him. Bit with 3 of his own with the MAC-10, so $1,800 for him. And Yell, I mean, sacrifice. He gets $600. He's got $8,900. He's immediately on the AWP.
Yeah, I was a little worried there for a moment for WinOut, and they kind of just executed into a fairly stacked site. But with Molotovs, you can kind of negate some of the pressure. They still had 2 players towards default. That again, that could have been dangerous. But eventually, they were able to find all the frags, and now 12-6, half the score line here. And if we go to Cobblestone and WinOut is able to find this, yeah, if they have a momentum coming through this map as well, if they win, of course they will, but the more dominant, the better, as moving into Cobble, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, well, we've seen Selfless with a really strong CT side on this map, and that's the dangerous part about this right here, is that they've got, essentially they've got a decent amount of time to play with this one. If WinOut wins this round, though, it's going to be very crippling for Selfless, because, I mean, they've bought out, they're very low on money. You know, the heroes of the last match were Relix and Mitch. Mitch is 6-16 this time around. Relix is top fragging at 15-15, so he's doing all right, 17 rounds in or 18 rounds in. But it's Mitch at 6 kills, Mainline at 6 kills. You need these guys to step up.
Oh boy. That's how that's going to go down. Destiny takes a lot of damage, but shot in the back from Yell, and that will be how that A aggression pans out.
Selfless. How did he not get that kill?
I really have no idea, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, he will not. Left on 11 hit points, and Knack and PKL follow it up. Yeah, this is a situation, like you had highlighted. If WinOut take this round, which they have, Selfless, they're in an awful spot. Backs against the wall here on this map.
Yeah, and that's the thing. PKL is actually over here in Vince right now. So he has an opportunity. He's actually going to fall back towards mid, which I would like to see him go in towards checkers because you got one player that's playing underneath mainline. I think he might have hurt him over in that area, but really it's, I mean, this is just a really tough spot for Selfless to be in. Mainline and checkers. He does have backup from Nifty, who's actually playing in heaven. Just watching for the CT flank. Yell is coming around the corner, so we might have the op-on-op battle as Nifty switches his position. Oh, that would have been a little bit tricky there. But Bit, nice shot, takes down mainline. They don't get anything out of the round. They needed to save those rifles. That would have been, that's so crucial right there. And here's the tactical timeout from Selfless. What a round there from WinOut. Beautiful CS from them. I mean, like I said, they had the aggressive push from Uber, who should have been able to find that kill and get a one-for-one trade. Yell bails his teammate out, survives with 9 HP. I think he ends up surviving the entirety of that round as well, Destiny. Yep. And they keep a lot of players alive, if not all 5 players alive, and they take everything from Selfless.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate when you attempt to save, and then when you just get hunted down and you didn't take it down anybody. Like they did survive with 5, so WinOut, they are in a brilliant position here. And Selfless, what kind of adjustment can you make moving into the next round after seeing what just happened on that rifle round? They went for some A-main aggression. WinOut kind of just hung out. Played a bit of a, I wouldn't say, I actually am uncertain as to the other positioning on the map and whether or not it was a default or not, but still they kind of wait for Selfless to make a move, they capitalize on it, and they take a round that is very impactful for them to take this map.
Well, what I'd like to see Selfless do going into the next round, and they actually did it on the last eco round that they were on, where they sent a couple of players out through B main to try to get the early aggression and things like that. If on Selfless's side, if Nifty is going to have the AWP, send him and a rifle out on A main, let him try to get that early pick, and then trade it if he drops, and then fall back into the site. Get a little bit of early aggression out on one of those spots. We see that be so effective so many times. I watch Hellraisers do that all the time in their matches, especially when I was at the ESCAP LAN, that they would get aggressive in one spot of the map, turtle up on the other side of the map, try to get an opening pick in one of those areas, and then fall back. And it's like you said, when that pistol round with the op, they got the pick, fell back, and stacked the other site. You get all that information. It's something that Fur does so well on Luminosity. That's why I tweeted out not too long ago that playing Fur has got to be the most terrifying thing ever, because you check every corner because he's got to be hiding around one of them.
Yeah.
You know, when they play a map like Mirage, he's at the top side of mid, he's in underpass, he's pushing B halls, he's up in Palace, he's everywhere. Just individually different rounds and stuff. I'd like to see Selfless try to find a little bit of aggression in some different spots. You know, send 3 players into mid, 1 into Vince, 1 into Cubby, 1 to support from Sandbags, or 1 to support from Catbox for a fast rotation into A, and play a 1-1 on the A site and the B site. You know, a little bit less conventional setup for their CT side. I think that's going to be something that might pay off for him. So we'll see. Because that's the opportunity, too, is that you can go for a fast rotate through mid if they do go for that A hit again.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys are just joining us, Dust 2 was the map choice of WinOut, and they got bodied on it. Yeah, there's no real way to put it nicely. They were not able to get any momentum going. But on Cash, it has been a completely different game here. They really have found momentum early. We talked about how there was some rounds that maybe they shouldn't have given up, and that could have been what Selfless needed to bring it back, but in the end, it is WinOut that is primed to close this, and moving on to Cobblestone, they really have a shot in this best of 3.
And here's the thing, too, is that there's no individual standout performer from WinOut right now. You look at the score line right now, you got Bit at 17-8, you've got Destiny at 17-10, you've got Yell at 17-8, you've got PKL at 15-11, you've got Knack at 11-11. So there's really, 6 kills from top to bottom. You got 2 players that are 3 players that are all on the same frag count at 17.
Yep.
So that's just all. There is no big individual performance. Whereas on the adverse side for Selfless, Relics is at 15, Mainline and Mitch are at 6 kills.
Yeah.
9 kills being the difference there, especially since Mitch and Relics combined for 54 frags in the first map, that blowout on the first map. So Mitch needs to step up. All of Selfless needs to step up, but Mitch needs to step back up and start getting a lot of kills. But, a team that frags together typically wins together, and that's exactly what WinOut's doing. Everybody's contributing right now, and that's the scariest part about it is they reset Selfless now. They're looking to go up 14-6, potentially up to 15-6 if they can take the next gun round away from him as well, and then close this out and go on to Cobblestone, which they looked good on against Winterfox yesterday.
Yeah, and it looks like we're seeing the entire pause being utilized some of the time. Like, they get 5 minutes. They don't always use the 5 minutes because usually you can talk about things and get things rolling, and you get right back into it, right? But they're taking the extended pause, and that is completely within their right, and I'm excited to see what they come back with. But to talk about the opposite side of things, if you're a WinOut and the tactical pause comes in, you now have all the room in the world for mind games moving into the next rifle round, and you've got rounds to work with as well. It's not like they have one round to kind of pull it off after the tactical comes out, they will have chances to kind of mix it up and maybe find the round that they require.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. Is like I'm looking down at the teams right now because they're on the other side of the stage as we take a look at them through the cameraman's eyes, but. That's actually Bit. That's the in-game leader for WinOut right now. And then that is Yell, and I'm not sure if that's Destiny or PKL on the end. Not 100% sure. I met a couple of the guys last night, had a couple of beers with them, and was able to – that is PKL. Okay, producer, thank you for whispering that in my ear. What a nice guy. So that is PKL on the end, and then on the other end is going to be Knack and also Destiny. So we're actually panning on over. There's Knack with the hat on backwards and then Destiny on the end. And, I mean, these guys are poised to take map number 2. And this is actually interesting because we saw this in the TSM Energy matchup where each one of those guys won the other team's map pick.
Yeah.
WinOut picks Dust 2, loses to Selfless. They come out swinging on Cash, 13-6 right now. That's why the pause is being utilized. And, I mean, just it could go down the wire the whole way.
Definitely.
I'm excited for it. I love it. I love close CS matches.
Yeah, again, and for both teams, of course, WinOut coming from Brazil. They had, I think, 3-day boot camp at Clutch Arena, and they were scrimming the top-tier North American teams and really holding their own. So this is a massive opportunity, and just, again, great work from them to bring things back after such a devastating Map 1. But, again, we're just waiting for this pause to be resumed, to be honest with you. I feel like they've utilized their time, but maybe it's on the other end. Could have some sort of issues going on. So hang tight, guys, as again the scoreline is 13-6 with WinOut on the T side, and they've got money to play with. We got 8,600 on PKL, 8,200 on Bit. So it's not like Selfless is going to win a round and all of a sudden WinOut has to eco and they can start bringing rounds in. And Selfless is moving into. Well, I doubt they force buy here, but they are on so little rounds that. Yeah, I don't think you can even warrant that force buy. So it'll be a light buy moving into the next. They will be able to buy fully, and that's where we'll see if their pause is going to pay off. I don't think we'll see anything too crazy and strategic. Usually when we see a pause come in like this, they're not talking about the next eco round necessarily. Like again, they're moving into a fairly light buy. They are talking about the rifle round, and it just seems that a lot of the time the pause comes at this point and not right before that rifle round. And I feel like it does give a little bit. It gives one round where it's like, okay, this isn't the round that we expect to win. Of course, it'd be great to win it. Don't get me wrong. But the tactical pause was designed for that next rifle round. So, again, we'll see what they pull out here as excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, so just a minor technical issue. It was a tac pause. It fell into like a tech pause as well. So that's all we're waiting on. Next map, like we said, if this one does go the distance on a map number 3, is going to be Cobblestone. And I'm excited about that because yesterday Winter Fox lost to WinOut on Cobblestone. So it's going to be interesting to see that map get played out. But the big thing for me is WinOut had an opportunity to see Selfless play on Cash yesterday. Selfless had an opportunity to see WinOut play on Cobblestone yesterday. Yeah. So could they bring any kind of quick anti-stratting into this just based off of what they saw WinOut do? Because one of the things that I really enjoyed about the Cobblestone matchup yesterday was how dynamic the terrorist side was for WinOut. Now, granted, it was like an 8-7 half, and WinOut didn't have the best half, but the fact that they kept throwing in all these individually strong strategies, like their splits towards B, their splits towards A. They didn't just hit. It wasn't like Tempo Storm in day one where it was like B rush, B rush, B rush, B rush, B rush, drop control, B rush, B rush. Let's fake A and go B again. So it was, that was very much so the same kind of thing. But WinOut was a little bit more dynamic with their strat calling. They did, the drop zone split that went up towards A. They were able to catch 2 players in the back on that. And a number of other executions that, involved sending a couple of players around through the long A corridor, sending one up through the dangerous stairs to try to cut off that rotation of the fallback from the CT, and then essentially come back around to the back B platform. And they utilize, and this is one of the things that we see a lot with the Brazilian CS, Luminosity and Tempo Storm alike, is the one-way smoke that they throw onto the B platform that they're able to see all the way down in towards the drop zone to get a backstab into that player if they overextend themselves a little too much watching that spot. Yeah. So that's one of the new strategies that we've seen pop up here not too terribly long ago.
Yeah, and I think talking about counter-stratting, you've got Ryu. And he was the one that James highlighted yesterday that Selfless is fortunate to have a guy that does so much homework. And I think that he's going to come into this, and I imagine he stayed up and just was basically looking at everything he could to try and come up with something that can help them out moving into this. Even if, again, we saw the bans come out and they didn't ban Cobblestone, obviously. So that's got to be in the minds that they're either going to pick it or it could, again, show up as a random third. And I feel like the map pool it does favor WinOut in that, again, if they bring it to that third map, Cobblestone is a decent map for them. So, again, guys, if you're just joining us, we do have a bit of a technical issue that we're just working on right now, so we do apologize, but we will be getting back into map number 2 as soon as we can. Again, the scoreline is 13-6, as you can see, and I'm not entirely certain what the issue is. I don't know if it's the headset for Ryu, potentially. I don't know. Usually he's got his comms on as well, so maybe that's what's going on here. Of course, he's very critical to the Selfless side, but yeah, I think we've kind of hit on everything we can really touch on.
Yeah, well, one thing that we can talk about is the match that's going to be coming up after this, which is actually the one of the bracket matches, I believe it is.
Yeah, we're moving into the playoffs ones.
Yeah, we're moving into the playoffs after this because we're going to have our 4 teams that are moving forward into playoffs, and it's actually going to be TSM facing off against Optic.
Yep.
After this is all said and done, and Optic coming in this one with a hot hand. They've only lost 3 rounds so far in this tournament. They're 32-3, and that's all on Train.
Yeah.
They lost 2 rounds to WinOut, and the 2 teams that are playing right now are both of the teams that played Optic on Train yesterday. And WinOut got twice as many rounds as Selfless did. They got 2.
Yeah, so we are going to take a look at Group A here, as we'll bring it up on the screen. Here we go. We can take a look at how things went down. So again, TSM, they actually played tempo on Cobble, which we kind of criticized them for. They were not able to do very well there. See, Energy was able to make it into that winner's final, but couldn't actually find the victory versus tempo or against TSM. So that's kind of how that played out. Unfortunately, Team Caliber, they weren't able to do as well as they had hoped, obviously. 16-13 was a promising start, but you could see they were kind of bullied by TSM 16-4. So that's kind of how that panned out.
Well, I think the real talking point in this group bracket, as well as when Energy played against Tempo Storm, it was on Mirage, and they played them really, really close in that matchup. I mean, 16-13, the scoreline doesn't really do it justice because it was actually a come from behind for Tempo Storm. They were actually down a little bit in that matchup, and Energy was able to have a very solid performance on that. They just weren't able to close out the match, and Tempo Storm, again, Brazilians grinding rounds. It's what they're good at. They're incredible at doing that kind of thing, and you can never count them out. Tempo Storm, I feel between them and Optic are the clear favorites in order to be successful in this tournament and make it to the next qualifier. I feel that the dark horse in this one is Selfless, but if they continue to look like they do on Cash right now, then they might not be able to make it that far. They might actually drop out in this series alone. TSM would be my other dark horse going into this one as well, because they were able to take down Energy. The 2 young guns on that team between Twist and Sick looked awesome today. Simfist had a big match on Cash early on, and then the last 2 matches it was all Twist on Overpass, and then to close things out on Train. Just had an absolutely phenomenal series from the young gun. 16 years old, land debut.
Yeah, just an up-and-comer, and to have that kind of talent and that kind of performance so early on in your career, the sky's the limit for a guy like that.
Oh, yeah.
He's got tons of players around him that can kind of mold him into a more solid kind of player that he'd hoped to be. But again, that is Group A. We'll take a moment to take a look at Group B bracket. As you can see, that's where Optic is just bullied the opponents. We got 16-2 start again versus WinOut. They talked about it on the desk that, again, they didn't have a strong start at all and kind of got hyped into the next one. But it looks like we're back into the match here. Again, 13-6. Right back into things. Again, we apologize for the delay, but again, we are ready to rock here.
Technology, man, sometimes it's fickle. And here's the aggression that I was talking about before. Mainline just annihilates Knack, and this is what I wanted to see out of Selfless. I wanted to see it on a gun round, not a save round. But again, I mean, it's that kind of deal where it's like, okay, push and get some information. They actually get a rifle out of this as well. No damage taken on the main line either. He's able to just pop the dome and take him down. So, and again, Knack is the one that's kind of been struggling here on the WinOut side. So, man advantage gets swung early to Selfless. It's a matter of what can they do with it now, because the armor or the lack thereof for the CT side is going to be the main issue for them moving forward. They're going to have to get sneaky with these pistols.
So creeping out middle, bit heading towards vents. Got a teammate with him in yell as they'll creep up towards highway. And they haven't dropped that smoke inside of the Z connector. And Uber is looking to get a little sneaky here as he's trying to
fancy.
Jump up and over. To be fair, that's quite a bit of sound cues for the T side. But at the same time, if Uber can spot someone, maybe can take him down through the smoke. That would be optimal for him, but not going to be the case as we've got 35 seconds and WinOut after losing that player. It's been a bit of a tentative rest of the round. But looks like they will commit on to B with a single-player bit heading into A to try and create a distraction or provide a flank.
Yeah, and he actually does find one. Mainline is over by truck side. He's going to be able to take down another one, but the bomb is actually up highway. This is interesting. Destiny's got to hit this shot, and he does take down Mainline. That's going to open up that A bomb site. He's going to be able to get the plant. That was a really weird round from WinOut. Didn't look like there was a lot of indecisiveness as to what they wanted to do. Uber now picking up the AK off of Mainline's dead body to see if they can neutralize this 3v3. But honestly, I kind of feel like maybe send the two pistols in to try to do a little bit of damage, get another AK into your hands, and then save that. But it looks like they want to go. Okay.
All right, Mitch back at it with the dig as we'll see. 2-on-2 as Yell's going to find Mitch. It's now only Uber, and he will fall. So WinOut, it looked a little scary, and to go back to that highway play, I think the initial frag came in, and the call was made to bring the bomb that direction. But, yeah, as soon as the player goes down at top highway, it's now the bomb alone. If he doesn't find mainline and that AK, then he falls, and that round's pretty much done. But
it was like 15 seconds at that point in the round, too, and the two remaining terrorists were falling back out of the B bomb site after that kill happened. So it was like they were just so far apart. They lose the bomb there, they lose the round. And then Selfless starts to pick up some momentum. This is the most important gun round of the game for Selfless right here. They need to win this one to get back into this. If they lose this round, they're going to be back on another broken pistol buy, maybe a Mag 7 and some armor. But honestly, I mean, WinOut, they're on the verge of taking away map 2.
Certainly are, and we'll see Nifty has actually found such a sick position there. So they Molotov underneath vents, but Nifty is tucked into a corner where it doesn't affect him, and he can peek clearly into B main. Finds an opener. That's going to be a great start here for the CT side, as we'll see a boost up towards middle. Yell trying to find something here as they have Molotov below the boost. Make certain that that is not a danger, but mainline from the sandbags area, he certainly could be.
That's so frustrating for PKL as well, because you throw that Molotov and you're like, all right, I can peek this with no fear. That player's just sitting there holding that angle because that Molotov doesn't spread far enough and just gets punished for it. Yep. They spotted mainline. They might be able to find this kill and even things up a bit. He's been so strong in this match so far. I mean, everybody's been pulling their weight, like I said, on the WinOut side, but Bit's been the one that kind of opens up these rounds a lot of times, and if he's able to find that kill, that would have been huge. Knack, though, is going to be able to find Uber. Mainline is on 22 HP. They've gotten control out in the front of A main. Mainline's kind of sweeping his way in, but Relics goes down, Mainline goes down. Things looking good here for the Brazilians. It's a 2-on-4. Mitch and Nifty have to pull their weight going into this one, but the op from Yell is lined up. They're falling back, or at least one's falling back. They get the pick onto one, but yeah, immediately traded, and this is an op save now. It's got to be from Nifty. Hold on to that for the next round. WinOut are going to be on match point or map point, looking to push this into the third map onto Cobblestone. This is impressive from the Brazilians.
Yeah, the only real way that Selfless can get back into this at this point is if Nifty just goes off in the next round with his AWP, and they're attempting to strip it away from him. Destiny does fall.
They got plenty of money to chase this, too, so there's no reason to let him try to get into this.
Here we go. Knack is going to drop out of the vents here. Nifty misses the no-scope, and that will be that. No op for the Selfless side, and it will be 15-6. WinOut, one away from taking Selfless their map choice in cash.
Big thing about this round, too, is the fact that they started to get the money bonus. I mean, that's 6 rounds in a row on Terrorist side for WinOut, so they've got full money bonus here for the CT side. So it's not the best buy, but it's still a relatively formidable buy here from Selfless. 3 from Moss, a 5.7 in utility in the hands of Uber, and then they've got an M4 in the hands of Mainline. Oh, if Yell was able to hit that. We didn't see that on camera, but Yell actually went very aggressive in towards mid. Doesn't matter, though. Mitch just gets obliterated by Bit, taken down immediately into the round, and it looks like it is going to ultimately be an A hit here from the Brazilian side of WinOut. But again, I mean, that early man advantage, Bit only taking a handful of HP, and Uber's playing behind Squeaky, so it opens inward. They pop flash in, but there's a player behind the door. The flash was perfect.
Yeah, that was
just
fantastic.
took Uber so long to find him that he ends up taking 54 points of damage from that. A little bit awkward there for a second.
Slightly, as we'll see. Uber still inside of Squeaky, and he's going to head back out now. Interesting smoke here towards A main, or towards Fork, one of the two, as that's actually a really... was that just like an on-the-fly smoke that didn't
that was
work?
on the fly.
Yeah, that was...
If he threw it a little bit higher, it would have been all-encompassing in that area. He could have even thrown it a little bit further to the left to get it up on the ramp to cover it a little bit more, but he needed to get something to get out of that area just in case there was somebody posted in A main for him to fall back out of Squeaky Door, which could have been a lethal position. Now he actually gets aggressive into A main as well. Relic's trying to probe for a little information, and Med gets spotted, but he does know that there's at least one player over there. But it still is, I mean, it's a man advantage here for the Brazilian side. Uber, he's falling back out of A main right now. They've got a player on highway and Bit, and like I said, these entries have been so strong from him. He got the opening pick here. He's actually got 2 on the round. He's going to sneak up in towards the A bomb site, clearing out truck side, and he's just solo on this one, and he might actually get all the way in towards truck before Uber realizes what's happening. Look at this. He's actually down at CT. This player that's in spawn, he's going to have to take this long-range battle, and Bit's going to win that. He split the defenses. Uber had no idea what was happening, and now he's in a 1v4, made a 1v3 with the frag on Bit.
Yeah, Uber now needs to complete a 1v3 as he's found 2, but needs to complete the ace as he flashes out of heaven. He's got an incendiary to flush out a single spot here, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Sends it to the back of the bomb site, flash out as well, but he'll be taken down immediately. Destiny with the frag, and yeah, like you had stated, Uber just still focus on Squeaky and A main. That flank comes into play, and WinOut taking the map choice of Selfless 16-6. Dominant performance.
That was just a huge lurk from Bit. I mean, that was a massive lurk from Bit. That was 2AT, perfectly played. He didn't even clear out forklift side either. I mean, that would have been the one thing that he could have done necessarily better in that round, was to clear out forklift, maybe even get the pick on Uber, but then they would have been alerted to his presence coming around from truck side towards CT. So he's in the long run, he's able to get that pick onto the CT guy. That just splits the defenses and puts Uber in a really critical position out in the A bomb site with the bomb planted at B in a 4v1. Beautiful job from WinOut. Nice recovery from him, and they come into a 16-6 victory on map number 2 to push it to a third map. So even though they got beat up on Dust 2, I mean, it was what, I think it was like 16-6 on Dust 2 too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fairly similar. Again, lackluster for WinOut on that map, and it seemed to be said for Selfless on their map choice. So now we move into the third, which is Cobblestone, and I'm just more than excited to get into that.
Yeah,
and
that's going to be the interesting part of it as well, is just because we've already seen WinOut play on this map, and we know that they've got a lot of strategy going into this one, especially on their terrorist side. Their CT side looked really, really strong as well. Bit was a monster on this. PKL was outstanding on this map yesterday. But we're going to get more in depth with that, so we're going to send it down to Puckett on the desk and see what GB James and Garrett have to say about this one coming up, guys.
Thank you, fellas. I'm really enjoying the Make a Sprawl combo up there. But let's talk about this game. You guys are totally wrong all day today.
You know what? Here's the thing, though. I couldn't be happier to be wrong.
Yeah?
That's all I'm going to say.
I was going to say, you're 0 for 5.
Well, I'm not over 5. One for
it's
like
not even
a lot.
about. It's not even
You're
about
right,
the
sorry.
picks.
James, you're 0 for 5.
Okay.
You're,
I'm fine with
you're
that.
1 for 5.
It's a crazy day in CS. So what I would like to say is, we talked about the first match in Dust 2 where they never got their economy. We said if they won a pistol, that they could actually get some momentum.
The could scenario was they have to win the pistol.
Well, but it was really predicated on the fact that they didn't ever get to play CS because they never had full economy and utility to actually play an upper level game. An experienced team knows how to get to that point. Well, they're experienced and good at actually when they have guns, but they never got to that point. So in this, they won the pistol, and they kept the momentum. They won both pistols.
And Garrett, we did see a little bit of back-and-forth action in the first half. Would you say that is playing CS when you don't have full buys completely, but you have enough to work with?
Yeah, like I love that kind of CS where it's like you win a round, lose a round, win a round, lose a round. It's like that. It becomes that battle that too often in CS you don't see enough of, like 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. I love seeing that, and it just shows that the composure of like who's going to be the strongest team to come out of that. And funny enough, they actually both were very strong because like no one gave it up and like went downhill after that. So WinOut did a fantastic job, and they won 16-6, but this easily could have been a 16-1 match because WinOut, they lost B on every like eco round, like half buy that Selfless threw at them, but when it was gun rounds, they won every time they went B.
Yeah.
So it's like Selfless loves buying Tech 9 armor, and they win a majority of the rounds winning those kind of rounds, but they lose a lot of gun rounds.
So let me talk about that. I actually was talking about that in the break room. NAC was using an M4A1 silenced, and so if you're ever having 5 Tech-9s rush you, it's a gun that has
You got 20 bullets, right?
Yeah, 20 bullets,
Yeah.
10 less bullets than the M4A4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I was talking to the guys from Optic. I was like, "Would you guys use that in the site?" And they're like, "No." So I think in general, you should probably use a gun when you're going to be close range, against a lot of opponents rushing at you. I think that actually that's what allowed the few rounds of the first half to get really close and actually almost let Selfless in it, or it would almost been like a 16-2.
Yeah, I think it was more like overthinking that way because they had Bit and Knocked together in that site.
Yeah.
Bit was always getting the kills with the
He
unsilenced
played great.
M4.
He really held down.
I feel like Knock actually had to silence M4 just so that when Bit's taking the heat, he could be like that sneaky guy that you can't really hear where his bullets are coming from, but it just didn't pay off.
It did not work.
It did not work
So
at all.
Now that pistol round, the second one, it came down to time. It
Yeah.
looked like you were going to see Selfless. They had the last
Yeah.
man standing, but no time. The bomb detonates, and they end up losing it. So I guess Selfless, could they have gone into the double digits? Could they have even won this game if they win that second pistol?
It's always they could have, but just I think they were lucky to get 16-6. Like it should have been 16-1 maybe. Like
Yeah.
that's how it looked like.
you saw a lot of teamwork from WinOut.
They looked fantastic.
I mean, if you look, Mainline had 8 kills. Okay, he's the end game leader. We need a little bit more from him. But Mitch he went 8 for 20 at negative 12.
And he's the key player I told you about. When
Right.
he was positive, they win.
So, yeah, he needs to channel his inner CS:GO instead of the game he played before. Really focus on it and develop his talent in this game.
So I feel like both teams have had a game where they're just like, all right, we need to throw that away. Let's get
Yeah.
it behind us.
Yeah.
That never happened. Ignore all of that. Now we're going into Cobble.
Short memories.
Exactly. Very short memories are going to be required
Yeah.
coming in. Cobble is going to be our next game. And this is something that we saw from WinOut. They played against Winter Fox. And when we were watching it yesterday, you guys were constantly calling out the Winter Fox errors. Was WinOut playing well, or was it purely Winter Fox's errors? And can Selfless take a different route here on a map that isn't necessarily their favorite?
I think that WinOut actually played strong as a team. I saw a lot of pop flashes, a lot of coordination. They looked like they shell-shocked Selfless. Selfless was trying to...
Fox.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We're talking about Cobble.
No. Oh, Cobble?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I
we're
was-
moving forward.
Okay, yeah, I was...
We can go back if you want.
Okay. So Cobble is WinOut's favorite map. Okay.
Yeah.
So I actually would favor them in this. If they keep the momentum, if they win the pistols, bring me the pistols, Jason Lake. If they do that, they could take this match.
Yeah, like it's Selfless's most banned map. It's the perma-ban map where they've only one match they've not banned it out of all the chances they could have, and that one time they didn't ban it, they lost it. So the fact that they've had one, like
They banned Nuke, didn't they, this time?
They had to get rid of it.
a nuke,
Yeah.
right? So the fact that they didn't ban Cobble, and they're now at the point where they're playing a map that I bet they don't even scrim because they
Yeah.
always ban it. So why are you gonna scrim it?
Maybe
so
they'll
like,
YOLO it then.
like I'm expecting B, just go B. That's all I'm expecting.
And you look at this team shot right now of Selfless.
They're making strats up right now. It looks like.
There's not a whole lot of confidence on any of those faces. So
No.
It's like, yeah, look at Ryu. He's just like,
I'm worried.
we haven't never played this.
They should be
Uber's
worried.
James told, yeah.
it'll be fine.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what? This is like honestly like I thought they could get a map. I thought we're not gonna get a map. I thought they were gonna get Dust 2, not Cash. Like I didn't think that was gonna happen. But Cobble, this worries me because they've not played it. So
So Oso's in here.
Oso's mainline
yeah,
now.
he's just
They're gonna
like,
switch roles.
so tell me what they're saying right now, Garrett.
Oso's like, okay, so for my time in Winter Fox, these are the strats we used because they have
They're in
no,
trouble.
They have no
They're in
idea
trouble.
what they're about to do right now on this map.
If they're giving them Winter Fox strats, they're in trouble.
I'm at the point where like they're probably better off playing Nuke,
Yeah.
but like they could.
I honestly feel that they might.
But Selfless, the way they play, this is actually it's weird because I feel like this could be a map they could be good at because that team that's just like aggressive and YOLO.
Yeah.
Where they could just be like, you know what? Let's just rush B. Why be
I
complicated?
mean, if they did that, they might.
I think they should.
Yeah.
Just
go
pop
go
flash,
tell them, Garrett.
Pop flash B and just go and just use your skill. And if that doesn't work,
Coach
3-2-A,
Garrett.
I don't know.
We heard Mega Man saying, "I wish we would see more aggressive play, at least on the CT side in that last game
Yeah.
from the Selfless squad."
They.
Can you catch WinOut off guard? Like after watching them play, is this a team that you can find exploits in their setups and just get a pick real quick and then back away, or is this a squad that is going to be very much like Tempo and Luminosity from Brazil, where they're always in a position to trade?
Well, we really don't know, right? But like, when it comes to, I wish I could tell you because like we actually have, this is about the fourth map we've seen them play. When it comes like what the strategy you come to into this, it's like Selfless needs to, like, you have to find out how they're gonna play. I think you got to play back at least for a little bit to see what kind of strategy they're gonna bring at you. It's either that, or you got to bring it to them. So if I'm Selfless and you get a chance to pick, you're clearly gonna pick T-side Cobble if you have the option.
Yeah, you gotta.
If you pick CT, you're like that's
Production,
risky.
if you can, let us know what side are
So
being sorted
outside, I was told that the Brazilians, after they lost 16-6, I believe,
16-6, yep.
they were screaming at each other.
Sounds like Navi.
I'm gonna say I actually like it when people get upset when they lose.
It means they
care, right? So they're out there and they're pissed off and they're frustrated, and they took that out on Selfless. So I kind of feel like Selfless looks a little shell-shocked. They're like, yeah, like we said, we never play Cabo. What are we going to do here? So I actually favor right now the Brazilians if they keep what you talked about and Mega Man talked about them being passive on the CT side. That's what happens when you get too conservative. You're not reading the game. You're not counting the smokes, the signals, the firing. You're not listening. Yeah. And then you're not reacting. So, and that happens when you're scared and you're just like, I hope you make the play because I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah.
Talking about Selfless a little bit more, though, I want to ask here, is there a clutch guy? Is there that guy that just has the clutch gene, kind of like the Hiko that we've seen, whenever he has the pressure against him, he's able to perform. Is there a guy that is their go-to?
For clutching?
Yeah.
No.
So,
I don't think they have that.
So I had my eye when I analyzed Kusta for Liquid. I looked at relics. I actually thought, okay, this guy. I asked him about himself. He's like, I've been in an invite team, a couple different ones. Never really got my shot, but I'm probably one of the more experienced players on the team. He showed it in the match before.
Right on Dust 2.
Yeah. So I think that. And I think he's kind of the unsung hero of the team, does a lot of stuff. So I think if they're going to win, that he might need to carry them right now.
He's been dropping bombs. Like the first 3 matches, he's been the top fragger each time. But when it went to the question of being like the clutch player, he actually had, I think 2 one-on-ones against Bit. Who, albeit is a world champion.
He's got to concentrate.
But he got outplayed severely both times.
He did. He was a little nervous.
Yeah.
So he's got to channel his inner Hiko and see if he can bring it home.
Yeah.
We'll see if that can happen. All right, there's a smile on Nifty on the far right. Selfless feeling a little bit better now that they're sitting down. Headsets are on. It's time to get the predictions. Okay. We're starting with you this time. You made James go last.
This one, okay, if Selfless wants to win this, they got to play like they did on Dust 2, and they got to go fast and furious. They can't play passive T-side like they did on Cash. So I'm going to go. I'm just going to stick to my.
You went 2-1 Selfless at the start of the series.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to feel I have to go with the team that hasn't played the map at least.
Yeah.
I like them. On the gun rounds they win. Yeah. So I'm going WinOut. I'm going to go 16-12 for fun.
I'm going to go. Brazil has been so up and down, right? They're just like non-existent, and they don't. It's like they're not even in the building. And then
they own the building.
Or they own the building. So
they're kind of dependent on assault rifles. I feel.
Yes. So bring me the pistols, and then 16-14 win for the WinOut.
Oh no! Here we go.
16-14 if they win both pistols.
You know we're gonna be wrong on this, right? It's gonna be 16-6
Well, I
Selfless
have
now.
not been right today, so I like NA. Go NA. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to jinx them.
Yeah, you stay where you're at. Thanks for switching over. It's going to be Selfless on top,
Brazil,
guys. We'll
baby.
see how it plays out. Game 3 coming up next.